most awesome friends, fellow warriors, and spiritual gangsters. I hope this message finds you in good health and high spirits. It's been a while since my last meaningful communique, as the forces of the universe once again have conspired to delay me. But worry not, for my resolve remains strong, and here I am. This video message serves to act as the first of many in a series called Coming Clean. This collection of eye-opening, candid short stories will accompany my soon-to-be-released ebook and a new podcast also called Coming Clean. This will fulfill my promise and conclude the book I published last year called Dark Water Fountain. As you may know, I recently returned from a journey to Siem Reap, Cambodia, where I visited the majestic Angkor Wat. This experience was amazing. I felt like I was transported back 1,000 years to a bustling metropolis where the sounds, smells, and sights of daily life filled the air. As I wandered through the temples, I imagined the conversations that took place among those who shaped the destiny of an entire people. I was both humbled and inspired by the sense of wonder that filled me. For the first time in a long time, I was situated in a place where I felt completely unattached to the outcome. My reflections of the past decade, including some big decisions I made, were marked with a few wins and a couple of big losses. And among those setbacks, I include my third arrest in 2012. And if you don't recall, it was for an 8-light Canadian-approved medical cannabis garden that was on my neighbor's property. If you still think my arrest was just about growing small amounts of herb, you're either ignorant to the facts or you're just plain naive. That arrest and the consequences that followed tested me like no other period in my life. The stress the agents working on behalf of our government put me through, including their trying to take my kids away from me, making my children cry, pushed me to make decisions I probably never would have made. This one setback took me down what I call my 6 years of purgatory, and it was fucking rough. This was a very dark period in my life that challenged me like no other. Yet, I persevered, and I found that which I had lost. I felt like the phoenix rising up out of the ashes and set to work investing 1 full year into planning and coordinating a 2-year trip around the world that would take me through 100 countries, which was going to include hostile territory, Congo region, Syria. I had it all mapped out. This epic adventure was intended to facilitate a reconnection with old friends and catalyze a global grassroots revolution. But 6 weeks into the trip, COVID-19 hits the world and I returned home. Yes, you heard me correctly. I said revolution. Not one of bloodshed and loss, but one of transformation. For far too long, marginalized populations have endured the burdens of oppression and inequality. For far too long, we have been mere pawns in the machinations of the powerful. And today, I say no more. I understood that my journey to Siem Reap was not just a physical journey, but a spiritual one as well. I was reminded of the importance to live an authentic life filled with purpose and fulfillment, a message that is more important now than ever before. I am also aware of the immense significance of my words, as they bear implications that will impact me on various levels. I also recognize the gravity of our situation, and I am mindful of the potential consequences that may arise from what I say. 20 years ago, during my 30th birthday celebration, I climbed atop my children's play fort and passionately shared my vision of the future to 100 friends and family. I communicated my determination to strive towards a more just, equitable, and loving society, knowing I would have to play the long game and await the alignment of certain key factors. Although I possessed fervor and courage, I recognized the limitations of my knowledge and sought to avoid the fate of the martyrs whom I so admired. My aspiration was to contribute positively to the welfare of others, while also living a long, fulfilling life. The truth is, the kind of change I am designing for, there is no fixed number of hours, days, weeks, years, or in my case, decades that can conclusively establish the advent of a revolutionary reality. Nonetheless, I am of the conviction that the millions of kilojoules that have been expended, toiling tirelessly, grappling with complex issues, forging and nurturing meaningful alliances, have finally converged at the opportune juncture. The crumbling of our geopolitical, social structure is a dire reality that we must confront. The forces of power and domination have rendered our societies vulnerable and unstable, paving the way for a bleak future for far too many. We must recognize the root causes of this disintegration, which lie in the structures of inequality and oppression that are deeply embedded in our systems of governance and economics. Only by challenging these structures and striving for genuine democracy can we hope to build a foundation that is truly sustainable and just for all. You might be telling yourself that you're okay with the way that things are, that a change to the system might mean a change to your status or position. To you, friend, I say that there is nothing you can do to stop what is coming. We will either be embroiled in a civil war, essentially what is a world war, or we work towards ushering in a world revolution. Regardless, a change is going to come, and you need to decide where you're going to be standing when it does. In 1998, I authored a paper entitled "Lead the Children, Inheritors of Your Legacy," and I shared it with a select group of confidants. This paper espoused the idea of an impending revolution, and it served as my contribution to the cultivation and watering of the seeds that had been sown long before my own creative efforts ever took root. I believed then, as I do now, that a sufficient number of brave individuals would one day rise to assume the mantle of those genuine heroes whose shoulders that we all stand upon today. The time has come for us to make our mark on history. Throughout my adult life, I have been devoted to the pursuit of truth and the unraveling of life's great mysteries. While I have not been immune to making mistakes, my commitment to serving others has remained constant. In this emerging era of AI, where discerning between the self-serving charlatans and that which is authentic is going to become increasingly challenging. For today, the message is simple. If you possess the necessary tools, continue to utilize them to uplift yourself and those around you. If, however, you lack the required resources, do not hesitate to seek out those who can provide them for you. And above all else, act now, knowing that the choices we make today will have a profound impact on our future.
Esa proclama es patria o muerte.
If you want to stay connected on this journey, go to Corky.fit and link with our social accounts. Hit the subscribe button to get the latest uploads from around the globe. And if you have the means, support us through Patreon by clicking the link below. Every dollar we get helps in a big way. Remember, this is your journey too. Thank you. God bless.